Alright, everyone. Welcome back to this last reading. This last episode of this reading. Um, Man, it was actually a pretty good book. I'll talk more about it probably at the end. Hopefully extend this out a little bit. But we'll see. Um, Men, said the little prince. They shovel in the rapids, but they do not know what they are looking for. Then they become agitated and go around and around, and he added, "It is not worth it. The water wells we had reached did not resemble Saharan wells. Saharan wells are simple dug holes in the sand. This one looked like a real village well, but there was no village there. And I thought I was dreaming. It's strange, I said to the little prince. Everything is ready. The pulley, the bucket, the rope. He laughed and touched the rope and made the pulley move. And the pulley groaned like an old weather vane in the wind like an old weather vane when the wind has long slept. Ah, I got you. Listen, said the little prince. We awake this well and it sings. I did not want to make an effort. Let me do it, he said. It is too heavy for you, so I slowly hoisted the bucket up to the edge. I put it standing. In my ears was the song of the pulley in the water, which still trembled when I saw the sun shaking. I'm thirsty for water, said the little prince. Give me to drink. And I understood what he was looking for. I lifted the bucket up to his lips and he drank with eyes closed. It was like a sweet party. This water was something more than food. It was born of the walk under the stars, the song of the pulley, the effort of my arms. It was good for the heart, as a gift. When I was a little boy, the light of the Christmas tree, the music of midnight mass, the sweetness of the smiles made all the radiance of the Christmas gift I received. Men in your planet, said the little prince, cultivate 5,000 roses in the same garden, and they do not find what they are looking for. They do not find it, I replied, and yet what they are looking for could not be found in a single rose or in a little bit of water. Of course, I replied, and the little prince added, but the eyes are blind, they must look for it with the heart. I drank. I was breathing well. Sand in the morning is honey color. I was also happy with that honey color. Why did he say that I would have trouble? You need to keep your promises, the little prince said softly, and again he was sitting with me. What promise? You know, a muzzle from a sheep. I am responsible for this flower. I take my drawing drafts out of my pocket. The little prince saw them and laughed. Your baobabs, they look a bit like cabbage. Ah, I was so proud of the baobabs. Your fox's ears look like a bit like horns, and they're too long. And he laughed again. Unfair little fellow. I only knew how to draw that closed boas and open boas. Ah, that's fine, he said. Children know. And I drew a muzzle with a pencil, and my heart was tightened when I gave it to him. You have projects so that I don't know, but he simply replied. But he did not reply. He told me, you know, my fall on Earth, the anniversary will be tomorrow. Then, after the silence, he said again, I fell near here. And he blushed. And again, without understanding why, I felt a weird pain. However, a question occurred to me. So it is not coincidence that in the morning I first met you, 8 days ago, you were walking like this, alone, 1,000 miles from all inhabited regions? Did you return to the point you fell? The little prince blushed again, and then I added hesitantly, perhaps because of the anniversary? The little prince blushed again. He never answered the question, but when he blushed, it means yes, isn't it? I told him, I'm afraid, but he answered me. You know, you have to restart your machine. I will wait here until tomorrow evening. But I was not reassured when I remembered the fox. We might cry a little if we let ourselves be tamed. Chapter 26. Next to the water well, there is the ruins of an old stone wall. Then, when I came from my work, I saw next by a fire my little prince seated up there, legs dangling. I heard him talking. So you don't remember, he said. This quiz isn't quite here. Certainly another voice answered him since he replied, if that's a good day. But this is not the place. Man, this translation is a little rough for my head. It's not making a complete grammatical sense, and it's kind of bothering me a little bit. It's alright, it's alright. Let's just continue. I continued my walk to the wall, and I could not see nor hear anyone. Yet the little prince replied again, Of course, you will see where my trace in the sand begins. You do not have to wait for me. I'll be there tonight. It was 20 meters away from the wall, and I could still not see anything. The little prince says after a pause, Do you have the right position? Are you sure you will not make me suffer for a long time? I stopped, with a lump in my throat, but I did not understand. Now go away, he said. I do not want to back down. Then I lowered my eyes towards the bottom of the wall and jumped. There it was there, standing in front of the little prince, one of those yellow snakes that you put to death in 30 seconds. I was searching my pocket to get my revolver. I started running, but noise that I made. The snake slowly sank into the sand as a jet of water that dies, and without too much hurry, I slipped between the stones with a splight of sound metal, and I reached the wall just in time to receive in my arms the little prince as pale as snow. What is the story here? Now you are speaking with snakes? I untied his eternal golden scarf. I wet his forehead and made him drink. But I did not dare ask him anything. He looked at me seriously, and I put my arms around his neck. I felt his heart beat like the one of a dying bird. When it is shot with a rifle, he said to me. I'm glad you found what was missing from your machine. You're going to be able to go back home. How did you know? I just came. I just come to tell him that, against all expectations, I managed to do my work. He did not answer my question, but he added, Today I am going home as well. Then, melancholic, it's further and much more difficult. I thought something extraordinary was happening. I tightened him in my arms like a small child. However, it seemed that he was falling into an abyss, and there was nothing I could do to hold him. He had a serious look, lost, far away. I have your sheep, I have the box for the sheep, and I have a muzzle. He smiled with melancholy. I waited for a long time. I felt he was warming gradually. Little fellow, you were scared. He was afraid, of course, but he laughed softly. I will be much more afraid tonight. Again, I felt frozen by the feeling of the irreparable, and I realized that I could not stand the idea of never hearing that laugh again. For me, it was like a fountain in the desert. Little fellow, I want to hear you. I still want to hear you laughing. But he told me, Tonight will be my 1 year. My star will be right over the place where I last fell. Little fellow, this isn't a bad dream. Th- Little fellow, isn't a bad dream this story of snake and meeting and star? But he did not answer my question. He told me, What is important? It is not seen. Sure, it is like the flower. If you love a flower that is in a star, it is sweet, and you look at the sky at night, all stars are flourished, sure. It is the same for water. You gave me one drink, and it was like music because of the pulley and the rope. You remember, it was good. Sure, yeah. Uh, at night, you look at the stars. My planet is too far for me to show you where mine is. It's better like that. My star will be one of the stars for you. And you will love to look at stars. You will be. They will be all your friends when I make. And then I will make you a gift. He laughs again. Ah, little fellow, little fellow. I'd like to hear that laugh. Exactly, this will be my gift. It will be like water. What do you mean? People have stars that are not the same. For some who travel, stars are guides. For others, they are nothing but small lights. For others, who are scientists, they are problems. For my businessmen, they were gold. But all those stars are silent. You will have stars like nobody has. What do you mean? At night you will look at the sky, and I will live in one of them. As I will in one of them, then it will be for you as if all stars were laughing. You will have the stars that know how to laugh. He laughs again, and then you will be consoled, and there will always, and will, we are always consoled. You will be glad to have known me. You will be my friend forever. You will want to know, sorry, you will want to laugh with me, and sometimes you will open your window to have fun, and your friends will be amazed to see you laughing at the sky, and so you will tell them, yes, stars always make me laugh. And they will think that you are crazy and I have played you a nasty trick. He laughs again. It will be as if I had given you, instead of stars, lots of small bells that can laugh. Tonight, don't come. I won't leave you. I'll look bad. I'll look like dying. That's it. Don't come to see it. It's not worth it. I won't leave you. However, he was worried. I tell you that because of the snake, it doesn't need to bite you. Snakes, they are bad. It may bite for pleasure. I won't leave you. But something comforted him. It is true that they have no more venom for the second bite. That night I did not see it setting in motion. He escaped without noise. When I managed to meet it again, it was moving decidedly and quickly. It told me, "Ah, here you are." He took my hands, however, and was still concerned. "You were wrong. You will have trouble. I will look as if I were dead, and it won't be true." I was silent. "You understand, it's too far, and I can't take that body anyways. It's too heavy." I was silent. "But it will be like an old bark abandoned. Old barks are not sad." I was silent. He was a little discouraged, but he made another effort. "It will be nice, I will always look at the stars. All stars will be water wells with a rusty pulley. All stars will pour for me to drink." I was silent. "It will be so funny. You will have 500 million bells, and I will have 500 million fountains." He was silent too, because he was crying. "It is there. Let me do a step alone." And he sat down because he was afraid. He said, "My flower, I'm responsible for it. And it is so weak and is so naive. It has 4 insignificant thorns to protect it from the world." I sat down because I could no longer stand. He said, "That's all. That's all." He hesitated a little and then stood up and took a step, and I could not move. There was only a yellow flash near his ankle. He stayed a moment, motionless. He did not cry out. He fell like a gentle tree, and it did not make any noise due to the sand. Chapter 27. Let me scroll down here a second. Alright. Chapter 27. And now, of course, it has already been six years, and I have never told this story yet. The comrades who have seen me again were glad to see me alive. I was sad, but I told them, "It's fatigue," and now I'm a little comforted. That is to say, not absolutely, but I know that he is back to his planet because at sunrise, I have not found her body. It wasn't a body so heavy, and I love listening to the stars at night. It's like 500 million bells. But now, something extraordinary is happening. The muzzle I drew for the little prince, I forgot to add the leather belt. He will never be able to attach her to the sheep. I wonder, what happened to his planet? Perhaps the sheep ate the flower? I say to myself, probably not. The little prince encases the flower every night under its glass globe, and he watches his sheep. So I'm happy, and all the stars laugh gently. Sometimes I say to myself, once in a while, we're distracted, and that's enough. He forgot. One night, the glass globe, or even the sheep came out silently during the night. So, the pals are drown in tears. This is a great mystery for those who like The Little Prince. As for me, nothing in the universe is the same. If somewhere, we do not know where, a sheep did not know how did or did not eat a rose. Man, that was a rough, clunky sentence. We look at the sky. Ask yourself, the sheep did or did not eat the flower, and you will see how everything changes. And no grown-up will ever understand how it is that important. Let me try that again real quick. And no grown-up will ever understand that it is so important. It is for me, the most beautiful and saddest landscape in the world. That is the landscape as the one in the previous page, but I drew it once again to show you it well. Here it is, where the little prince disappeared on Earth and then reappeared. Look carefully at this landscape and be sure you recognize it. If you one day travel to Africa in the desert, and if you manage to go through it, I beg you, don't rush. Wait just a bit underneath the star, and then if a child comes to you, if he laughs, if he has golden hair, if he doesn't not answer to your questions, you will guess who he is. So be nice. Do not make me so sad. Write me quick and tell me he's coming. Tell me he came back. I will do. If I ever travel that far, I will absolutely write to you. And that is the conclusion of The Little Prince. I'm honestly kind of not really sure what to say there, but it was an enjoyable book to be sure. I enjoyed the topics of traveling and the flower being a little bit prickly in the personality, and trying to figure out what was actually going on. I don't know. It's definitely an eye-opening read, and I can see why it was such a popular book for reading to children and trying to be an inspiring parent. I can see where that came from, for sure. Definitely a worthwhile read, and it was a good life-changing experience, even though it was pretty minimalistic. Now, The Little Prince is definitely something that's probably going to be something I reference in the future at some point. But this was a little bit longer than normal. This is definitely an enjoyable read. I get stumbled a few times just because the grammar is a bit clunky sometimes, but it is very much a French book, so there's no concern there. It's understandable, and I'm not really complaining about it. It's just language barriers can be rough sometimes. Anyway, if you guys have any books that you would like to suggest, any new things for me to read, just let me know, and I'll check it out. All right, well, I guess this is the point where we wrap up this playlist, and I'll talk to you another time. Hopefully, we have more book readings to go through in the future. I am going to try and maybe collaborate all these together and just chop off the beginnings and ends and make it a nice video, but we'll see where that goes. If you guys actually want that, you'll leave comments letting me know that you want that. Until then, it probably won't be compiled. So, anywho, if you have anything else to let me know, go ahead. Here's the opportunity. Good night, sleep well, and remember that you are cared for. You're a good person. Don't let people turn you down. Be creative. Don't get stuck in the monotony and the repetitiveness of life. Remember to be curious and inquisitive and grow. And I'll talk to you another time. Good night.